Hello, today we are going to talk about a company which owns almost the whole of the world. And this company has done a lot of investment into many companies, also of America. It owns some shares of Uber, it owns some shares of Reddit, it owns shares of almost many companies in the world. Although it is situated in another different type of country where that country is secluded from the rest of the world and it does its own thing, which are a part of are different from the what the rest of the world is doing. So this company, having its particular favorable environment, it was able to grow and also spread its roots to all over the other countries of the world. And that's how this country is able to own almost many types of things in the world, be it corporations. It has invested in them. It has a lot of shares in games industry like Epic Games, whatever type of game industry it has. You know it has shares over there. It is the company which deals with the PUBG. So any games which is released, this company particular owns it or has shares on it. So, and this particular company, it said that it has the most type of revenue of income which it gets from games, leave alone Epic Games or FIFA or EA Sports. This type of company has the most type of revenue which it earns per year and also monthly. So I'll be telling you about this company and how it started. Although it started just recently, it has been able to evolve very fast, and also there are so many conditions which has favored this company, and also there are some things which this company has done to become what this company it is today. And many people don't know about this company because it's on the low key, because little people are able to talk about it. It's a silent company, but it owns a lot of major things, and also it has power. It controls almost most of the things in the world. So there was a particular case in I think it was in 2018 over there, where a particular basketballer had tweeted against Hong Kong and said, "Free Hong Kong, and we stand with Hong Kong." And this particular company is a company which is in the Republic of China. So trying to say free Hong Kong. Remember, this company had a partnership with the NBA and also was sponsoring NBA also. Now this is how the roots has gone. A company in China is being able to sponsor NBA. So this person was made to apologize on the comment he had said about free Hong Kong, and that's how this particular dictatorship has gone. A country which is in China is able to dictate what is also happening in other parts of the world, like the NBA, which is a free, independent thing where everybody should have independence, but it is able to dictate it because it sponsors it. So this company is called the Tencent company. And if you just go and look it up on the internet, it will show you a lot of stories about this Tencent company. One of its rivalries in the China place is the TikTok company, but Tencent was there before TikTok, and it has grown so large, and it has suppressed most of the companies which are situated in the region of China. So I'll be telling you about Tencent and how it was able to become a big company, and some of the companies which made it to become big as it is today. So Tencent was started by a person called Pony Ma. Pony Ma, which he started the company around the year of 1998, where he left university. His first application which he sold was he was able to sell. It was in a internship where he was, and he sold an application where it could predict the stock exchange. And this application, he sold it more than 3 times his annual salary. And this was a profit for him, which gave him more hopes that he will have a bright future. And this pushed him to do even more with the money that he had. So later on in the days where Pony Ma started a company called Tencent, and this company called Tencent was able to venture into many things. Like one of the venturing which Tencent did was it had seen a company which was dealing with web-based chatting, which was in the United States, and this company was called QQ. And this company called QQ, it was usually no, it wasn't called QQ. It was called it was called ICQ, and this company was mainly dealing with chatting with users in the web-based platform. People will be able to chat with users. Remember that time it was in the 1990s or to 2000. There things for chatting with people hadn't been fully developed like Facebook. So this was the main thing that was used to chat with people, which person who has a computer and also a web browser will be able to chat with another person using this particular software, which is called ICQ. So what Ponima did, because in China there is no rules or regulation of these companies solely belongs to you. They do communism. So any type of idea you can implement it and also take it as yours. In China, there is no such thing as copyright. Anything which it is there outside, you can develop it and also put it to have more better attributes, and also you can fix it to have to bend on your own laws. So what Ponima did was he copied that particular app which was in the United States for web chatting. Later in the years when that app was starting up, Ponima says that when he copied that app in its initial start, it wasn't very well and also common. So what he did, he used to change his profile picture and also start chatting with people to keep them coming, and also to so that these people, when they keep them coming, they will also refer to other people. So he'll pretend that it's another person chatting with him, but it is him chatting with this many people. So you will put a picture of a girl, and so many people will be attracted to that girl and start chatting, and they'll be using that particular application even more. So later on in the day, years, the company or ICQ grew even more larger, and people knew about this company, and it spread all over China, and it became a popular company. So when the company of United States saw about this company, what it had done, it filed a lawsuit and told the owner of ICQ to drop its name because it had copied it. So what Ponima did, he changed the name of OICQ, because what he did, the company of United States was ICQ. He just added an O in front of the ICQ to become OICQ. What he did, he changed the old particular name of OICQ and named the company as QQ. So QQ is now where the journey of Ponima started and his success started. So when he began, a lot of users logged into the particular app, the QQ, and many people were using it. But the problem with this particular app of QQ, it hadn't any form of revenue. People were using the app, but it wasn't generating any type of money for them. And being a country like China, it was hard to implement laws that will make them to have a lot of money and also monetize their particular app. Whereas in United States, it was more easier to monetize other than China. So that was the problem with them. They had a large company with many users, but it was a problem for them to monetize. So their company was in a brink of collapse, where this being a brink of collapse, they had to look for investors, and they found investors, and these investors also did some investment on this particular company called QQ. And after doing investment, this company, at least now, it started looking for more ways. So what basically they used to do, they used to look for ideas on what other people are doing. So if they look for a certain idea and see this idea was more favorable, they'll take it and also implement it into the QQ app. One of the ideas which brought them monetization and also brought money into their accounts is when they did some avatars. Anyone who was in the QQ chat group will be able to buy clothes and also type of hair, and also to reshape his own avatar. And this is a common practice among also many companies buy avatars. You can dress your avatars, even in games where you see games, people buying some certain of weapons. This was formerly brought by also the influence of QQ. But before people started buying weapons, at that time when QQ was developing, it started buying clothes, buying nice outfits. So that was a way for them to make money. And it was a nice idea, and they were able to make money. And that's how, at least now, the business of QQ started becoming big. And many people who are now opting for QQ, and many people who are buying nice clothes for their avatars. The avatars, it was a symbol for type of prestige. If you have a nice avatar, the avatar has nice clothes, then you'll be more likely to have more people to talk to you and be more respected by people. It is just like the real life. So later on in the years is when QQ also started venturing into other businesses. One of the businesses which QQ ventured in was anti-security software, where it was an antivirus. It was able to stop viruses. And one company which it was fighting against, it was a company called QHO. And this company called QHO, it had its own system, and it was more advanced than QQ. What QQ did was, Tencent did was try to suppress this small company. Although it was a good startup company, it was growing at a very fast rate. They had some alteration where the security software said that the QQ and also Tencent is trying to take data from users. So it was even they went to law to battle it as a legal thing, which it was an accusation made by that anti-software security by against QQ. So they went to court, and what QQ decided is to make another software where it looks the same as that QHO for security. After making that particular software, what they did is they told any type of user, if you're using QQ, you can't be able to use that other software using our QQ software. It's either you choose that software or use our QQ software. At that time, QQ had already had many users, so people obviously decided to use the other software. And also QQ, its own security software, also people decided to use it, because any way you needed a security software. So that's how QQ also grew into venturing into more businesses. And later on in the years, in 2011 and 2010, it is when WhatsApp blew up. And Tencent was a company which wanted to buy the particular group of WhatsApp, but something happened when the owner of Tencent, Pony Ma, at that time he had a back surgery. Having a back surgery, he missed out of the deal of the WhatsApp deal. And today, if it wasn't for the back surgery, WhatsApp would have been maybe owned by the Pony Ma and also Tencent. But luckily or unluckily, Tencent didn't buy the app, and it was Mark Zuckerberg also bought the app of WhatsApp as we know it today. And one of the things, after buying the WhatsApp application later in the years, in 2011, Tencent looked for another thing, because QQ at that time was mainly dealing with web-based, and at that time people were evolving and they were looking for more ways where people were not using computers, people were using mobile, and the mobile internet had started booming up. So they needed a form of a way to communicate and also chat on the mobile phones like WhatsApp. So they built a company called WeChat, and many people you remember when at that time WhatsApp and WeChat were having some stiff competition, but later on WhatsApp was able to win WeChat in its competition, because WhatsApp had already taken over the market, but also WeChat was also coming up. It had nice features in it. So, but in China, it wasn't that case. In China, it was a different type of case. WeChat was the one, even right now, WeChat is the one which is the leading company in chatting, and also not WhatsApp, it is WeChat, because it also had integrated some of the things which I'll be explaining. So after Pony Ma was he wasn't able to buy the WhatsApp, so he created his own application called the WeChat. Later, he did some innovations in the WeChat where anyone could have would also put a speech, and also that speech will the WeChat will convert that speech into a text message, and that's how WeChat was able to take over the whole China. And one of the key thing which they did, and it was a thing which they did by mistake, but it brought a lot of fame and also brought a lot of ideas into that particular app called WeChat. And WeChat is one of their main revenues, and it is one of their main things which has made them become so big in China, because WeChat is used by more than the period which WeChat is used by in China is 4 hours per day, and almost 95% of the whole population of China is using WeChat. And WeChat is widely used because I'll be explaining why WeChat is widely used. So what they did, there's a mistake, there is something which they did which they didn't see that it will bring them money. It was just a implementation, and also it was a trend for them. There was a particular holiday which was happening in China, and that holiday required for people to send gifts. And sending gifts, what WeChat did, it integrated the sending gifts to people into that WeChat application, and people were able to send to people gifts, because that holiday it required people to send each other gifts. So WeChat did that, and people were able to send other people gifts. People could buy money and also send people gifts of money and also other things. And that's how, and that idea blew. And the owner of WeChat and also Tencent said, rather than it being a 1 day or a 1 year term of use, let's make it a daily use. What they did, they integrated and also made WeChat a form where people could send each other money, and people could also transact in money. So people were transacting more in China with money. Even when you go right now in China, not many people have cash. Many people use WeChat, and that is their main currency and also digital currency. When you go to pay for anything, you pay using WeChat. If you want to buy something, you just pay using WeChat. So later on in the days, what also WeChat did, it created more apps. So you couldn't only pay with WeChat. So WeChat, what it did, it integrated all the apps into the WeChat. So the WeChat became just like an operating system. If you wanted to order for pizza, the app for pizza is inside WeChat. If you want to order for anything, it's in WeChat. If you want to order for a cab, a taxi, it's in the WeChat. If you want to order for clothes, it's in the WeChat. And if you want to pay for anything, you pay using WeChat. So WeChat, there was no way that also social media was also in WeChat. And if you want to text and also your family, so most of the time the whole population of China was just situated around China. It was like an operating system, and even right now it is referred to as an operating system, because there's no need of going to other apps when one app has everything. You can do anything which you want in just one app. So that's how WeChat grew. And if you go to China, WeChat is the largest company which owns most of the apps. And one thing with China, somebody's idea isn't solely for somebody. Anybody can pick up that idea. So Tencent was good at that. It used to strangle small companies and also used to take over companies by taking up ideas of small upcoming companies and also implementing it, because that's the law of China. There's no copyright, so anybody can take anybody's idea and also implement it. But this will be a favorable condition for the big companies because they have resources and everything. And also Tencent, by this favorable condition which was in China, Tencent now started becoming also big, and it also started becoming a massive company. Although China was, the government of China was seeing this, it didn't do anything. It is just like, it also supported how Tencent was growing, because Tencent is a large company and it's the main user of China. So many people speculate that the Chinese government turned into a blind eye, because it was also Tencent was giving them some data of the users of Tencent and WeChat, and also the apps which were on Tencent, because Tencent also ventured into a games application, and many people started playing its own games like PUBG. Many games are owned by Tencent, which we know today. Be it PUBG, there's more games other than PUBG. There are so many games which are owned by Tencent. So many games. So what Tencent did also, they saw that us trying to start a new company from the scratch, it is hectic. Let us just invest into other companies which are starting up, and trying to invest in them also will boost the companies. And that's how Tencent now started also investing into other parts of the country, like going outside of its country, going also into America, investing in the Uber, be it Reddit. It's also investing over there. It has invested in a lot of companies other than its own country, many other companies outside. So Tencent has grown over the past few years. And one thing, Tencent, after this many rivalries which were happening, Tencent had a particular rivalry with TikTok. But at that time, TikTok had grown so much, and also Tencent wasn't anticipating for that. And because Tencent had also been sleeping on their job, waking up one night, they saw that TikTok has already blown all over the country. But if Tencent was very serious, it would have taken over TikTok, and also it will be the one owning TikTok. But it wasn't Tencent. TikTok just grew up from anyhow, because a company in China to grow up from a small company to a big company, it is very rare. It is very rare, but TikTok did it, and it broke all the odds, because these other companies try to buy your company and also overturn you, and also they can duplicate their own type of application so that it can rival with your application. So, but TikTok was able to evolve, and also broke the chain of companies, large companies owning all the companies in China. So later on in the days, Tencent was able to on so much things. But recently, the president of China, called Xi Jinping, started also having some wars with Tencent, also having some regulations with them, because Tencent was producing some games which were also horror for China. And one thing, China doesn't support horror, and also doesn't support violence in. So what China did also was to ban Tencent, and also told children that no children who is above 18 should play in on the database of any game of Tencent, and also the minimum hours of play should be 3 hours. So it was a big blow for Tencent, and this is a way which the Chinese government started streamlining Tencent and trying to bring Tencent into its own ways. So Tencent trying to also retaliate and also try to appease the Chinese government, it started changing some of its ways. So in games like PUBG in China, when you shoot somebody to kill that person, the blood isn't red, the blood is green. And after somebody dies, somebody just waves their hand and leaves and disappears. But in other countries, somebody dies and bleeds red blood. But in companies and also games which are in China, people have peaceful deaths, and also it is just a peaceful game, which this is one of the things which the country of China has tried to spread, and also communist. And one thing also, an app like WeChat, it has been used by the Chinese government to censor a lot of things. You cannot say anything bad against the Chinese government. When you try to say anything bad, it is just censored. No one is able to send any discriminating message against the government or say anything against the president of China. So all the comments are always positive. And one thing also Tencent did was to make a game for Xi Jinping, and also so people could play that game and also compliment Xi Jinping and also rate Xi Jinping as a good leader. So Tencent has become a company which has been looked by other companies recently, because most companies are questioning Tencent because it could be a company which this company is controlled by the Communist Party of China. And this is a key issue, because if it is controlled by Communist Party of China, the users' data is not protected, because anytime the Chinese company can be able to access the data of Tencent, and also accessing the data of Tencent, many datas of all over the world will be able to be accessed, because it is the law of China for whenever the government of China wants any particular type of data of anybody, it can be able to access. And this is the same issue which is happening on TikTok. Many people are complaining that TikTok, maybe one day they'll be able to sell data of a particular country. And this has brought a lot of issues, be it United Kingdom, be it a country in Africa, be it a country in Russia, be it a country in USA, be it a country in Brazil. The people of China can be able to sell this data. This TikTok can be able to sell data to the Chinese company and don't know about the population and what this population likes to view, and also what type of map of the area, because a lot of things can be found using just social media. A lot of things what this type of country prefers. There are some countries which learn about this. So this data has also raised questions about these Chinese companies. But all in all, this Tencent company has grown to become so big, and also it has invested in a lot of things. Some say that the revenue of PayPal, and also if you compare to Tencent, it has a very large, it is varying very largely. So Tencent is a company which owns the whole China. It is the major investor. Be it WeChat, it is the major investor, because WeChat has most of the apps inside WeChat. So there's no way of going outside WeChat. So this is the story of Tencent. I hope you like this video. So please come back next time and watch out for the next video. And one thing, please give this video a thumbs up. Even if you didn't like it, please just give it a thumbs up. And if you also liked it, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe.